Hi, I'm Varun Haran. I'm Managing Director for Asia and Middle East with ISMG. I have the pleasure today of speaking with Adrien Gendre, who is the Chief Solutions Architect for Vade Secure. And we're going to be talking about industrial strength email security for the enterprise. Hi, Adrien. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So, Adrien, let me ask you, you have a strong heritage, Vade Secure has a strong heritage of working with ISPs, and you've recently moved into the SMB and enterprise space, right? So what are the experience and strengths that you bring to the corporate enterprise?
Yes, so actually there are three key factors. The first one is the data. When we work with ISPs, we have access to an amount of data that is unbelievable and unexpected. It's unprecedented data. Compared with the corporate market. Mm-hmm. And when we work with those data, then we can use it to feed our machine learning models and AI with a better precision that one we can expect from just working from the corporate market. Mm-hmm. That's the first point. Like you can imagine, we work with the major ISPs in the major countries like the US, France, Germany, England, Australia, and so on and so on. So the amount of data is key today, and it's going to be even more key tomorrow to produce better machine learning models. So that's the first one. Then we have also just the R&D experience. Like today, phishing is a very strong topic on the corporate market. Mm-hmm. A few years ago, it was ransomware that was very strong. On the consumer market, phishing is a very strong topic since 7, 8 years, nearly 10 years, almost forever, yes. Because of PayPal, because of Facebook, and etc. Mm-hmm. And so thanks, or because of the R&D investment we did for the consumer market and the ISP, then we have a very strong technology on phishing, and so when it became unfamous on the corporate market, then it was kind of obvious for us. We already had the technology and the approaches that we see that are now common. And then the last one is the performances. When you work with the ISPs, you deal with billions of emails per day and billions of users' feedback. And so we had to design our technology to process that amount of data. And you know, some of the technologies you see in the corporate market, such as sandboxing, that needs huge architecture to process and do the operations. You cannot think about using that on the ISP consumer market because it's just not compatible with the expectations in the performances. So, but at the same time, users have expectations and customers have expectations, providing a good phishing approach and a good anti-malware approach. Sure. So we had to find another angle to block the same threats, and that's why actually very early stage. We worked on machine learning and AI to block phishing and malware without having the downside of the performance required by the sandboxing system.
Okay, so that's a good opportunity for me to segue into ML and AI, right?
Yes.
And there's a lot of marketing going on around that. How do you use these technologies to secure enterprise email?
So, actually, the reason why we talk about AI, I think on the market and really in our company, it's to detect the unknown. What's prominent on the market right now, it's mainly two technologies, fingerprint and reputation, and they are designed to detect the known, right? That's how they are designed. Right. So again, very early stage in the process, we have developed machine learning models that are targeting the targeting attacks, like phishing, malware, spear phishing.
These are more heuristical.
Yeah, and we focus on the behavioral approach for those technologies. So instead of trying to identify the malicious content, which is a waste of time because it's going to change massively, we identify behaviors, and we use ML, machine learning, to identify those behaviors. And we rely on a few algorithms, and some are famous, like SVM or random forest, with a specific model for phishing, malware, spear phishing.
Right. So how does this feed in exactly to the performance benefit that you mentioned a little earlier?
Oh, it's real-time analysis. So it's actually straightforward. Just to give a few numbers on a specific node, we scan 700 messages a second. You cannot imagine doing something near than that with a sandboxing system.
Right. Okay, so let's segue to another topic here. We hear a lot about how humans or the users are the weak link, right? So how do you employ users as part of your solution, and what's unique about how Vade Secure does it?
Yeah, so it's funny. It's a common refrain we see on the market that the user is the weakest link, so you should be careful about your users. But we actually think the other way around. And maybe because we have that culture from the ISP, when you go on any webmail and you click on junk, you are a user that is reporting something to your provider.
Sure.
And so since more than 10 years, we are used to work with that content. So we are used to have the users involved because we receive users' feedback. And we use that to train our models. So I believe instead of being the weakest link, the users, it's actually the last line of defense. And so we should leverage that, instead of pointing as a defect.
Right.
And so they should be trained. I really believe in that. Some companies do a full business on that, and I really encourage that approach. They should be trained, and I think they should be trained on the fly when it occurs. So, in other words, if you are trained on a regular basis, and then something happened, you receive a phishing email, you might not remember your training.
Right.
Because we remember our emotions, but that's how we are made, humans. So the training, we should connect the event and the training together. So I strongly believe in a training on the fly when something happens. So in other words, you click on a phishing link, we detect it's a phishing link, then you believe the email was true, so you need a training. So right away we provide the content and we say why this approach
fantastic. So you reinforce that.
We totally reinforce that, yes.
All right, fantastic.
And then we also think the users can be involved in the decision process at the end. So on most of the product, the approach you see for the decision process, it's block or not, basically. Even quarantine, I consider it's block. Users will see or users will not see. And I think there is a third one. We cannot keep a Boolean approach like that just from the way the threats are being designed. So we inserted a third one, which is warning the users. So, and especially for spear phishing, when someone creates a totally new email address and using a first name or last name that might not be yours, with a few criteria and the machine learning models we can be suspicious enough about the threats, but from the scientific point of view, we cannot be 100% sure. And so some products, they just let it go because they don't want to make false positives, so they are careful about that. But we think in order to leverage that area, in the decision process, then we should warn the users and have them involved. Like, be careful.
Okay,
something is very suspicious.
Great, fantastic. So thanks for that very interesting insight today, Adrien. So I was speaking with Adrien Gendre, who is the Chief Solution Architect for Vade Secure. For ISMG, this is Vade Secure. Thanks for watching.